just so cornered. And Badil will finally bail out the opposite direction. Tries to go from behind. Snazy gonna be taken out. 1 HP and a dream currently for Badil here in game 7. Still trying to break through the floor underneath, but Clement, he's just so healthy. Cringe has to make an immediate wraparound. Cringe needs to alleviate some pressure here for Badil. But Badil, he's just stuck waiting. And this might be a revive, but Clement, he won't be able to secure it. Pressured one more time, Cringe. He's doing everything, but Badil is going to be the one that could potentially settle the score here. And this is dragging out much longer than we would have anticipated, Takada, given how things kicked off.
No, that's good for Badil, though, because it's exactly what he needed to do. He was so low HP, he had to wait for those Siphon heals to come through from the 2 knocks and another big pump. The back-to-back-to-back triple. Big shots connecting for Badil to clean up this match in the early game.
Badil played with
kick things off. Hopefully they can push that forwards now.
Mr. Savage.
The best start in day 1, but now with an early game like that, they have what it takes.
Definitely going to help out with a lot of the early surge. So many teams kind of understanding that you need right around 800 damage dealt by the time you hit 3rd zone. Otherwise, you are going to be in a world of trouble for those surge thresholds. A really nice clutch up, though, from Badil and Cringe, but got to tab in with action elsewhere on the map. Artist getting pressed right now by Kylie, Robin, and Timu. This is another one of our teams that's really looking to try and have some big performances. You don't really want to rock too close to that middle of the pack area, but Kylie, nice job chasing down Ifrozi. It's already going to be 2 eliminations here for Kylie, Timu, and Robin. And with another party lurking in the distance, probably best to just take your wins.
Yeah, you don't want to push it too far, especially when you're starting things off in day 2. Cammy, Hari, iDrop. Now there's a trio that I think it was Mini Miner said he's got faith for them to qualify. They're currently sitting in 12th place, had a super strong start to the day yesterday. Things slowed down later on, but they're really only like 24 points behind the qualifying range for the Global Championship currently. So one good match here in Game 7 could be enough.
Plus they dropped Badil for chat
into a spot.
This is another one of our fan favorite teams, Savage, Chav, and Reason. They're only about 8 placements, given the current standings of the leaderboard. And that could be the difference from making it to Lyon or not. I'll have to check back in to see what sort of developments take place for them, but right back over to where Robin, Kylie, and Timu are still based up at Kappa Kappa Factory. Haven't really been able to
on
stray
day
too
1.
far after that
Teams needed an average
getting
of
slightly held
2,200 damage to survive Storm Surge the
It
whole
does
game.
look like they'll end up bailing out, so that's going to give some space now for Kylie, Robin, and Timu to begin making their way out of their last position.
2,200 damage. The average amount that you needed in Storm Surge throughout the day yesterday just shows the amount of tags
This is bad.
that these trios are doing, but our number 1 trio, Pablo, was knocked on the ground. Shino and Prodoxy were able to pick him up. We know they tend to go extra aggressive off the start or their uncontested drop. At Supernova quickly rotate over to Pump Power or other surrounding areas, but without a single elimination yet and having one teammate knocked down, where did things potentially go wrong here? Our leaders of yesterday getting aggro with it once again, trading for country, but Pablo's gonna quickly get picked back up, so it looks like they have been successful here.
Unfortunate circumstance there. You can kind of just see Fredage off in the distance. He wasn't close enough to provide that support, but Pump Power getting keyed by Fredoxy's trio has been a hand-in-hand combination since yesterday, and that seems to be their intentions going through today now. But other teams that are just acquiring their surge through these bases, the big thing to really keep an eye out for today, Takada, is to see what teams are potentially looking to just start dropping on teams that they rate.
Gonna fast forward, yep. Now we got Venya.
Trio said he's currently in 2nd place, taking them out this early.
Huge.
Detrimental to their spot on the leaderboard. as they continue the pursuit. It's looking like it's in Vico Veno Flixi's hands.
Yapko gonna alleviate a little bit of pressure there for Panzer, but Panzer is still trying to get close enough for Yapko to prevent Vico, but it's just Veno chopping them both out. Panzer isolated one more time, but Flixi just kind of waiting. The call to be made, whether or not they want to give chase or forfeit it for right now, but they've claimed Lone Wolf at this point, Takata.
That they have. To go back to the, surge basing talks, I want to point back to what Levin was saying as well. It does depend a lot on where these zones do pull. It helps greatly if it pulls towards you and you kind of are looking to make one of those bases. It gives you a lot more time to make that, do that damage. But that's also going to cause the threshold to be even higher. So for the other trios that have to make that rotate, it's a world of difficulty. Robin, Tibu now have lost Kylie. They were looking like the aggressors before this, but now the tables have turned.
Robin just really hoping, holding their breath right now alongside Timu. They're not going to be spotted, but unfortunately their position is given away. Robin now recognizing the dangers, just trying to see if they're going to be able to disengage entirely. Ivan, Ifrozi, and Artis, they might decide to give chase here. It looks like they fully understand that Surge is not going to build itself these opportunities outside, deep inside of the storm. You need to make sure that you are capitalizing on them, especially when you're a healthy trio like this. But Ivan, one more time, pressuring two separate angles here. They're just pinching in onto Timu. Timu just barely still left standing here, but it's going to be Robin who actually is eliminated first.
Fighting in the storm, like I can't.
Ivan was able to see if he lived. They are in, and so
just to see what play. I know that France is definitely going to be getting loud. Marius, though.
This is the team Charlize has in like first or second.
A lot of work cut out.
Yeah.
Plenty of shield, plenty of white meds.
Veno.
They're just gonna
Kills the controller players, no man.
aggressively as they did yesterday, but a big cutoff. I was looking at Pigstorm and Demas, and to now see Veno, Vico, and Flixi playing spoiler. The Polish trio, Pix and Darm, are also just getting further and further backed into a corner here. But they could still try to fight their way out of this. You never know. Third-party intervention could also start to play a part here. Flixi, Veno, Vico just trying to make sure they keep their backcourt covered while also continuing to apply steady pressure here. They know they can take this apart, but Veno, it's going to be the challenge against Pix that he ends up losing. Fortunately for Veno, he's still got Vico and Flixi to rely on, and the supportive measures are there. They've got to be quick because Werex, Akira, Karama, they definitely overheard all that commotion.
Just with a sliver of HP, Veno was able to get picked back up. Seems like Demas Darm Pix want to play a bit more aggressive, though the perfect trio to do that, but when you have to go against Vico, Veno, Flixi, that is quite literally the top competition to go against. Seti seems to still be down. Yapko, Panzer kind of waiting it out right on top of the reboot van.
They know that Ghost and Hyper likely looking to try and do the exact same thing. Want to make a reboot play, bring their trio back up and running. But Yapko and Panzer, they definitely are just trying
that is a techie reboot.
No, even if they try and tackle Hyper and Ghost directly for the 2v2, it's just so likely where they're currently just got to take their time with this.
Again, I see like, wasn't sure if they were on loot or just kind of basing up here for next zone. Yeah, they're gonna use the Supernova Academy rotate potentially, but can you kind of use this to drop on top of Brutal Box? So
try and prevent a team that's been playing from inside of the storm from a quick rotate.
Prodoxy is dead? No, he's alive, just above.
But one thing that stays the same is surge basing is still a big favorite here in EU. Pablo, though, just trying to be careful, doesn't want to
what happened to Prodoxy?
Get fully knocked in. Definitely it's seemingly an uphill battle here in Game 7 for Gina Pablo. Not sure when they ended up losing Prodoxy along the way, but too many teams in the surrounding area for them to be able to look for a direct reboot just yet, and it's gonna burn so much time away from Pablo and Chino.
There's not a lot of times you kind of hope for a far zone pull, but when you're looking for a reboot and the zone pulls back onto you, it means your opponents aren't going to leave anytime soon, so making it even more difficult to get that reboot off on for Doxy.
Trouble in the tunnel, so at Foxy Floodgate for Mappy. We saw them kind of kicking things off there at the end of Game 6 yesterday, so Game 7, it's really just about finding that spark that's going to ignite your team, really get that fire underneath them. And Fernek, Dinas, Geras, we are having the desk wishes be answered here, Takada, because this zone is continuing to pull in that northward direction. And that could pose a serious problem here for Dinas, Fernek, and Geras, notorious for playing very strongly through those south zones, but a north one could be a much different story.
We'll see how it does play out. They're currently in qualifying spot for global, so
Getting that reboot off.
do anything
I
too risky.
like
Doxy will be
that.
rebooted back into the match now. They have to go through a bit of a difficult rotate if Doxy doesn't go down. Upple cracked. Does get out though, it seems, with literally might be at 1 HP, but he's still on his feet, which is what matters.
That south side of zone, though, is going to start to get real congested real fast, and that's why Upple, Mixon, Focus, they're just trying to see if they can beat some of these other teams towards the positional advantages. TNXV, Trulex already made their way into that south side edge of zone, and now teams having a little bit of breathing room. Put down a Dash Sprite, make sure you're fully charged up, but so many small forms of healing kind of just being littered everywhere, Takada. It's just a lot of small shield potions that players are relying on, but Upple definitely needs some HP.
100%. Team that isn't as and has a desperate need is Quizzy, Swizzy, Mustache. We saw them dominate a lot of matches yesterday.
It's got to be the most common tongue twister, right? The Quizzy thing?
Yeah, I always say Quizzy. I keep saying Quizzy, and I don't know why. I guess Swizzy. I'm doing it again. You know, I'm going to leave that trio for now. Akira, quick pickup onto Fincheck.
It's okay. We know it's just because they work like they're one unit. With Quizzy as the mastermind, but the way that Swizzy and Mustache seem like extensions, just their fragging capability is insane. And Karama, Akira, Weredex, they've got to keep trying to find some of these refreshes, and they're not the only team that's feeling a little bit pressured right now. Pablo, Chino, Doxy having to play for that super late reboot because of where all the traction was at. Just too many teams surrounding them for them to play for an earlier.
Doxy's still in a good
and now
position.
just being held by Pink, Nebs, Kiddo. We need to see a
Doxy's just killing it with the pistols.
Given that Game 7 is somewhat heading in their favor.
Ooh, Doxy does get cracked. Crazy stat. I knew I wasn't losing my mind yesterday when I was seeing the shots that Doxy was hitting with those revolvers. 5 times more damage than anyone else. As now it looks like the push might come through. Neb's doing a good job though. Trying to hold his opponents back. More than enough surge. They don't have to.
They're trying to chop.
They know if their opponents are desperate, they don't want to risk any big opening, but Chino might just force his way in. Overtaking their spot right now. As Pink and Nebs are put into a world of panic.
That's why you want to be aggressive.
It would be terrible for them.
They know Pablo, Chino, Doxy. They are desperate and they are willing to key the moment that they were able to get that initial knock onto Kiddo. They wanted to see if they could find even more. Pink incredibly low, but Pablo loses his shield. Pablo's gonna get knocked.
No
Chino,
mats.
Doxy left to try and see whether or not they can make a play for the double revive, but Pink, Nebs, they come charging in. They don't want to allow that revive opportunity. Pablo's going to be eliminated. Chino, Doxy, they'll be forced to use one of their Menace grenades. And now Chino pulling back. Doxy pulling back. They were able to at least get a little bit assets off of the body, but that is a big loss here.
Yeah, that is so tough for Pink, Nebs, and Kiro. They were in a prime position. Zone even pulled very close to them. They had the higher ground, and now they're in the mud without a teammate. A lot lower on mats and heals. But as a duo, I got confidence they can still make something happen. When you're the best of the best on the region, you got to be able to clutch up moments like these. As now, shots are going to be continuing to come through. Nebs almost getting cracked for Doxy. Forced to pop a big.
Seems like Nebs might be trying to re-spark that conversation with Ferdoxy, but Ferdoxy Chino definitely winning that last exchange. Now Nebs will finally look to just play into his chug jug, but Pink and Nebs, they're definitely just cornered by the lobby. Stuck between a rock and a hard place, quite literally, as Pink continues trying to see if there's some space he can look to retreat further back to. It's just
200
so
below.
through the low ground when you've lost your fragger, and for Doxy Chino, they are feeling that similar pressure. The lobby has taken note of what's come up short for these teams that are stuck behind the congestion.
He's gonna go down. Fred now peeking behind, seeing if he can find any opening, any players that are rotated in with not too much HP, and he might just find one.
Ferdoxy going.
Through a quick elimination for Fred, as he's gonna use the misform to get back in zone.
There's just so many pre-existing builds cutting him off, and Ferdoxy will make it back.
Pulls back.
But
Nice.
that was a little bit of a saving line, a little bit of silver lining here for Chino and Ferdoxy. They're really just trying to
About to get placement, top 17.
They're just looking to extend their lead however possible.
Oh.
But trouble is on the horizon for plenty of our teams, even in the low ground. Still, Tayson and Atreus. It's looking like we're going to see a lot of duo action in these final zones.
Yeah, looking like duo FNCS. I did see Cammy and his full trio up on height. If they're able to hold on to it, hopefully we can see them kick off with a big game here. But Gyros, Fernek, Dinas want to hold on to that qualifying spot in a great position, actually. Yapko and Panzer have played this whole game out basically without SETI. Let's see how many points they can clutch up as a duo.
Yapko and Panzer trying not to draw too much attention, but Veno, Vico, Flixie have zero intentions of letting them actually roll towards this front side low position. They're making Yapko burn through so much material, just trying to hold these walls even, but Chaos on the high ground. Vanya, Pixie, Matias, they finally made their move, and Cammy, he's been eliminated. Matias gonna immediately fall right back to the high ground, and now Pixie just relentless, spraying underneath, and teams are definitely feeling that turnover of height.
I might have spoke too soon. Zone has pulled back onto main land as Chino picks up a quick elimination onto Dinas now. Alongside Ferdoxy, the duo is continuing to look quite strong, but over time, I think after this rotate, if they don't get another refresh, the mats are going to be incredibly low. The good news is they pulled zone, so they can play it slow.
Convenient medkit find there too for Ferdoxy. 3 eliminations, every little bit helps. Vanya, Matias, Pixie still strongly overhead, but there are plenty of teams that are definitely looking to take it right back from them. Swizzy, Quizzy, Merstash, Prieta nearly bringing Ferdoxy down all the way, but Swizzy, he sees the opportunity slip through their fingers. Same might not happen though with Nebs here. He's lurking, he's wary, he knows there's a team playing through this frontside low, but Chino, Ferdoxy, they're also just trying to conserve as much material as they can, hoping to pick off another straggler that's coming through, even more shambles than them. And Chino will find it in Nebs, but there's only so much that they can split between each other. Swizzy, Quizzy, now having to play through the low, and Swizzy comes up big time. Chap gonna be eliminated, but it's a short-lived victory there for Swizzy. Clean trio wipes, and Vanya, Matias, Pixie still strongly overhead.
So many duos continuing to hold on. Harris, Tayson doing a great job at it, but they ran into another duo. It's Panzer, Yapko on the other end, knocking on their doors. So far, no trouble, as now back is up. Right into the Lion's Den. Tayson with another elimination. Now they're gonna have to play backside of zone.
A little bit of visual impairment off of that mid-miss grenade, still trying to make their way slightly up this elevated hill. But it's Opal, it's Mixon. They were hovering that secondary height, and now they're forced to drop all the way, lost entirely too much HP, but Chino and Ferdoxy, no material now for Chino. Last charge out of their dash sprite, and they are just huddled up together, hoping that this
They're doing great, though.
continues to carry them through placements by eliminating itself. Tayson, Atreus, secondary height, and they are stuck in between height and low, and it looks like they they might be forced to just take the battle underneath them with Teeny. Big shots though. These
Pulls
knocks
north.
and eliminations onto TD and Cringe now gonna mean
Means
that
it pulls
Tayson
back, I
Pacers,
think.
they might have a real shot at carrying through the low.
Yeah, it's a huge refresh.
Surfboard right
All
there.
of those mats. Hopefully it's enough to make a play, but
Veno's still a full
looking
trio.
at height, they see the duo up above. They know they have the advantage if they go for it. Marius getting incredibly low as they're just a couple shots away from breaking down the whole high ground. Chino though,
Top
into
top
trouble,
8.
gets
That's not bad.
knocked out of the match as Vanya Marius continue to hold up above.
Prodoxy and Cheetah did the damage on the lobby though. Marius Vanya, one big difference is having that shockwave pistol to make use of, and they are causing so much disruption for the teams underneath them. Akita
Chopped.
all the way in Storm, just looking to try and play whatever heal off placements he can manage. Veno, Flixie, Vico. Veno taking over height. Veno's got the medallion though. He's gonna jump. He's gonna provide a little bit of supportive measures here. Vanya has now been chopped, but Vanya doesn't have a chance to use that misform just yet. He's
Yeah, they
trying
can't
to
hold it that
as
long.
as possible. Dropped all the way though to ultimate low, and Vanya dancing around, but he's been focused. But all these solos kind of hanging nearby. He'll actually be able to find a chance for that make it play. But Deal also a solo with 5 eliminations in the low ground, causing so many issues. Just playing spoiler, 3 HP, still rocking it, and he finds a gap to play his Chug Jug. So many of these players now looking to just opt for a heal off opportunity here, but Flixie is tearing through. Flixie, Veno, and Vico, they are notorious for being day 2 players, and this is a big part of the reason why Takada, because Vanya.
Let's go.
won't have any
That's my first place pick right there.
Vico and Flixie take game 7.
I la 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 la.
No flick.
Interesting to see where Mario
Oh my gosh. I am fucking disgusting at picking picks, bro. I got my first place and third place. I got my second place and first. And then on NA, I got my prediction per
Pixie and Vanya are. They haven't moved
disgusting.
on the leaderboard despite a pretty high placement from those guys. The zone's in their favor. We know that they love to drop at Flooded Frogs. That hasn't changed the entire year. Why were they not able to hold on to that high ground, Levin?
Oh, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. We
Just
had,
picking one, isn't
you
it?
know, 2 sort of far pulls after this. Apes on here, you see them up on height. 2 far pulls that's investing a lot of materials. I don't think we saw them really jump down. You see here, Marius jumps down and picks up some materials. I'm guessing, again, it just wasn't really too much. Maybe this is the play here. Pixie getting caught out on the temp zone. I think that probably comes down to, because then you see it's just Vanya and Marius left to defend high ground. So I guess, yeah, it would have just been Pixie sort of getting caught out there. I think was probably the main problem for them, Vinny.
Yeah, and they also came up against one of the best, if not the best, teams at retaking height in the Halloween game. Flixie, they do that so often. So when you are a duo up on height, you're in woods. It's just completely easy for the teams down below to see that that's going to be an easy height for them. I thought they held on to it pretty well as a duo for a longer time than I would have expected. So props to them for that, and they managed to get a second, so it wasn't a terrible performance. But again, it would have been nice to even get that win just to propel them at the top of the league.
We have to give props to Tayson, Chicha, and Chris as well. This is a trio that's already qualified for the Global Championships in Lyon, and yet we still don't talk about them very often, Levin, which is surprising given the consistency of their performances this weekend.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was watching them in the group stage last weekend, and I remember a lot of the games we were watching them, and they were playing mid ground and they were low ground, and they were playing really well. Like they'd be on the side of the zone, and they just stood up and were just controlling that side of the zone for a couple of the different moving zones. And we've seen a lot of that so far today, and even here in this game, you see it where, you know, Tayson and Harissa are able to just control large areas of the zone. Of course, eventually you get overrun when you are just a duo, and the zone's getting smaller and smaller, but really promising stuff we're seeing from these guys, Minnie. Again, if they can perform like this come Global's time, they're going to be a team that's sneaking into that top 10 for sure.
Yeah, really exciting because sort of historically we've sort of thought about Tayson as maybe a height player, someone that is more prominent on that high ground, looking for it all the time. And it's really nice to see him sort of developing now that sort of low to mid ground style of play. And I feel like now, especially last season as well, it's finally coming to fruition, really finding himself at home and his trios at home in that position. So really excited to see what these guys can do at Globals.
Maybe we'll head over to, where SETI is, down by Lone Wolf, or they can even go up north. They have the options to change it up to not be as predictable. Also want to shout out Akira, Kurama, and Werex. They're now in qualifying range to potentially be the first native French trio to qualify to the Global Championship in France. So hopefully they can keep that position on the leaderboard. They're in 9th. They are the cutoff to qualify currently. Still a long ways to go, but it's getting started.
And it's looking like it's going to be a bit of a rocky start. So both teams tucked away on the southern edges of the map. The immediate off-spawn contest, though, I think because of the fact that we are in day 2 of our matches, Takada, you just need to make these off-spawn fights as decisive as quickly as possible. And you can't draw out the conclusions because third party will just ruin the day for everybody involved.
Good news for the fight down here is there's not really time for a third party when you're going for the 50-50. It's a quick end to the fight. Whoever gets the weapon first from the chest, it looks like Sato's gonna pick one up. Nice shots being connected onto Waves. They were the trio that did go down in Game 7 in the last match, but now in the 2v1, this should be a quick cleanup for Karma, Splik, and Sato, and it looks like it was. Now they just have to make use of this early game success to get a solid match.
And they'll be sure to get an early reboot there onto Splig, Cringe, Volko, Vidil, Outpost, Enclave, Snazy, Clement, Ice. Who's going to take it here in match number 8? And Volko actually kind of looking around, and
Job's done.
Cringe, Vidil, yeah, we didn't get a chance to see it because they were so quick
It was too
about
quick.
it. I'm still like looking in the distance because I mean, keep in mind, Takada, we just touched ground.
Yeah.
The battle bus and players are not wasting any chances. Vidil, Volko, and Cringe just rolled through match 8 off spawn with the vengeance, man.
I could tell you were looking around and I was like, yeah, they already have 3 eliminations. I don't know how they got it so quick, but looks like they played the 50-50 here at Outpost, and it worked out. Not only getting Aspire now, this is a very quick and very good start for Vidil, Volko, and Cringe. We saw Vidil in the late game in the last match doing a great job clutching up some extra points, so hopefully that momentum carries on forward. It's a quick replay to how it actually went down.
Good team effort, just winning that drop outright. And we all know Vidil definitely needs that. Cringe, Volko too. Teams looking to try and lock in for the Global Championship. Major 3 finals, it's always sick, Takada, to have a really high placement or even to wield the Blade of Champions, but everybody is so focused on making it to the Global Championship.
Yeah, it's the key to this major right now being the last opportunity to kind of get that golden ticket. And one of our top contenders is Panzer, Seti, and Yapko, but they've been running into a world of trouble here at Lone Wolf. And once again, you talked about switching things up. You talked about predictions for Doxy going right onto Panzer. Said, we're not going to pump power this time around. We're going to go right on over to Lone Wolf and see if we can pick something up. And that they did. Hyper goes Julie right below, looking for a sneak attack.
Don't get too excited, Chino. He's the only one left behind right now, but Hyper takes a big chunk out of his HP. Not sold that it came from Frodoxy's team,
Yeah,
but
I think it was.
it might have actually been the surge base that Frodoxy's aiming at, but now Frodoxy, Pablo, Chino,
That's
they are
crazy.
fully aware of this sneaky strategy that Ghost, Hyper, and Jewel were trying to employ. Pablo, Frodoxy, Chino, they are more than happy to try and key these guys down. They've already taken care of one trio. Why not look to tackle another? But this is definitely very scrappy openings from Frodoxy, and it's a method that they're just running with after their game 1 success or the day 1 success.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd call it scrappy. I like what they're doing. They don't want to be predicted, right? If they keep going pump power all 12 games, you know, eventually someone's going to go for the perfectly timed third party or do something to stop them. But if they keep mixing it up, it's what we talked about earlier on. It's a lot more difficult to kind of disrupt them in their early game path. We can see what actually happened. The whole surge base that Panzer had set up got dropped down, and the opposing surge team are the ones that disrupted the sneak attack from Hyper. Kind of unlucky, to be honest. A bit unfortunate, but it might have saved For Doxy, a potential reboot, so.
Panzer defying some of the laws of gravity out there, but Vanya and Pixie from Flooded Frogs. We know that Flooded loves trying to take those Surge trades up against teams by Lone Wolf. Probably a big part of the reason why Panzer was even so far up that ramp in the first place before he got chopped out. But Mattias, Pixie, and Vanya, Tagata, this has just been a very consistent play, but they're going to probably need to take some pretty big risk when you think about the way that Venovico and Flixie kind of just disrupted everything in Game 7. I mean, a big performance, huge points, surge up the leaderboard. That was 4 placements that they jumped.
4 placements will definitely help out, but there's still a good amount of matches to go. You were talking about kind of countering these surge bases, right? If you keep doing it every single game, eventually a trio is going to try and disrupt it, and Ivan might be on the receiving end. Almost ready to knock it all down. It gets chopped. Malabuka Ping Walks doing what they can to put their names back on the leaderboard. A quick cleanup. Double elimination from Malabuka Ping Walks. Could this be the start of a miracle? They're currently not looking too hot at all, but you know, if they end up popping off back to back, we saw it on OCE, we saw it on Asia, 6 wins in a row.
Okay,
if they can win
now,
everything, she said, stop you right there.
I will stop you right there, Tagata. They're 450 points behind, bro.
Hey,
Today is redemption for Malabuka, okay? And I am with it because I love to see that they're still fighting through it. Day 1 obviously did not go the way that they wanted it to, but that doesn't mean that they can't still get a little bit more prizing, and they already have their global seat secured. So we give them a little benefit of doubt. You try things, swing and a miss. And we leave it at that.
We'll see. You never know what can happen here in FNCS. Vico Veno Flixie, great success in the first match of the day. This is more what you'd expect from a trio of this caliber. Excited to see if they can continue with that momentum now. Good loot, good looks to kick off this second game.
Gotta be a little cautious there, though, for Bradage's trio. They've been having to deal with so many teams interrupting what would be their typical loot path. Yapko, Seti, they have found their moment, though, to bring Panzer back, and immediately trying to build up as high as they could to ensure that even if Panzer had been knocked out of the air from the team surrounding, that he was at least going to land at their feet so they could play double revive. But another trio already looking to close in. Yepko, Panzer, Seti. I mean, that reboot, man, is just sound the alarm. Let everybody know that we've got an injured trio here.
I feel like they can't catch a break. Still in second place, to be fair, Seti Yepko Panzer, but they're only a few points off of Vico Veno Flixie. They got 28th, 10th in the last 2 matches, so we'll see what ends up happening if the pressure is still on them. But Pace and Chicha Haris doing very well currently. 355 points in 5th place, 3rd and 6th in the last 2 matches. But Mr. Savage Shap Reason, one of the trios that's fighting for that global championship spot. Quite a bit away, but one good match is enough.
It's Seti, Panzer, and Yapko, though. This is the trio that we saw closing in to try and key when Seti and Yapko were trying to play for the reboot. Seti now paying the ultimate price. He has been exchanged, but Chap, that's not the outcome he would have hoped for against the likes of Yapko. Thankfully, though, with Savage, it's backed up, no problem. Panzer is still trying to be a bit of a nuisance here. He wants to prevent Savage from having anything go smoothly. If it's not going to be me, it won't be you either, but Panzer probably won't get that choice. Reason would have to stumble pretty heavily here. And Reason knows all he really has to do is show face. Doesn't need to chase Panzer any further.
Yeah, you do. It's a solo. You cracked
He
them.
might still key him, though, knowing he's a solo.
Oh yeah, this is not looking good for Panzer. I can tell you that right now. As Reason just has to hit a couple more DMR shots. I mean, we talked about them not being able to catch a break, and now 3 matches in a row where it's just not been a fun early to mid game for them. I'm not sure if something has to change or they have to just kind of be more prepared for these early engagements, but see if Panzer's able to do anything here. A 1v3.
Ooh.
Nice shot connected onto Mr. Savage, putting him to a bit of panic, but his teammates are close by.
There it is.
for a moment, out the turntables. But yeah, Savage, Chap, Reason get a little bit of revenge when you think about some of the limb opportunities Panzer took against them yesterday.
So,
Not like
So
this.
big return fire here, but Veno, Flixie, Vico, a lot of momentum carried off of that Game 7 win. It's almost like Veno's trying to announce to the rest of the lobby, hey, the king is home, and I'm coming to claim my throne. But Vico, Flixie, Veno, good elimination, start things off. And now trying to see if they can claim Akira, but it looks like he's managed to get a little bit of space.
Dang, this is tough. I literally was just gassing them up about now being in qualifying range to globals, and they get keyed by Vico, Veno, Flixie. Kira can still get the reboot and make something happen, but the difficulty just got increased to the highest possible, so hopefully we'll see them in the late game, but Vico, Veno, Flixie are on fire currently.
They are just sweeping through all these teams, trying to make later rotations that were left in those positions because they just lost early fights. Kylie and Robin, they do have a few eliminations, but if it's a battle of attrition, that's something that Vico, Flixie, Veno definitely have the upper hand on right now. Really strong loadouts here and just very consistent pressure. Veno gonna be the first one to get a little bit more up close. Kylie, Robin, Timu, Menace grenades, gonna bring them back up to pretty healthy AP thresholds. Still stuck inside the Storm for this long, Takada, and these drawn-out fights. Storm Sickness could definitely be a threat.
We saw the amount of heal-offs that came through yesterday, so it's definitely important to try and avoid that Storm Sickness, but in terms of making it back to zone, you know, these trios have more than enough heals to do so they're comfortable for now, but Flixie getting quite low, forcing Vico and Veno to kind of apply that pressure on their opponents, give them a bit of time to heal back up. Kylie, Robin doing what they can, but Veno's gonna get cracked as well. Now, gonna need some support from his teammates. The pressure is kind of on here. You might want to consider playing it a bit slower.
They might want to consider just leaving. This fight has not been what they were initially after, and now
There we
Flixie
go.
gets one.
the consequences have been applied, though, to Robin first. Timu, Kylie,
2 knocks.
they're now trying to go on the back foot, but Veno, okay, I apologize. I gotta remember that you guys are
Not a
still
trio that likes to play it
nasty
slow.
with it, okay? It's just, you can see the intention, and when it takes a little bit longer than you anticipate, it's very easy for that to go a different way in my eyes.
It's like they get,
That's good
get
surge.
fooled by the pressure. They're like, oh, I'm kind of
That's
low.
good
Let's
surge.
take this a bit more seriously now. Instantly, double eliminations, puts it into a 3v1, finishes the fight off. Head back over to Prodoxy, Chino, and Pablo now at Lone Wolf. Been disrupting this whole area of the map with their quick pushes off the start of the match. So many options. Do they go to a surge base? Do they go directly to a POI? It's a very flexible drop spot, and they're playing it perfectly.
Yeah, and the problem for teams like Lixium, Izzy, and Fozzy is that with the zone pulling south, and this is one of our trios that actually switched up their drop to a much more northern position on the map, like legitimately north outskirts of the map. And so teams like Prodoxy, Pablo, Chino, they take a stronghold over areas like Lone Wolf that are just in that perfect interceiving part of the map for those teams in the northern area. So it just causes these rotates to be so chokeholded that Lixium's team, they have to now tank so much more Storm than what they would have wanted to.
I think zone's also pulling south here, so the more south zones they get, the more difficult it's going to be. Quick look at how Payson was able to pick up a quick elimination here. Torres now hiding, but he was quickly found.
Happens to the best of us. Another reboot play coming into action though for Trexer and Mappy. Will Cheatin be able to land, or will he be shot down from the skies? Only time will tell. I do think that they are deep enough though and away from enough of the action, Takada, that Cheatin shouldn't have any issues. At least not for right now. But as this team closes in to where the zone has pulled towards, they have so much ground to cover.
Not too worried about it yet, though. They're doing a great job staying up on the leaderboard. in 7th. They've been kind of holding on to that spot. If they're able to do that for the rest of the day, it's enough to get that golden ticket to the Global Championship. So see if they can hold on to it, but the potential reboot having to come through here. You know, good news is they are on the side of the zone, even the uncongested side, so not too many trios in sight. Bad news, have they done enough damage? I would say hopefully so.
Pulling a little bit more towards that Outlaw Oasis side, though. Curious to see how teams like Swizzy, Murstache, and Queasy plan on just ruining surge bases for other people. Great shots. Swizzy is probably the last player you ever want to try and take a Bloom battle with, or even just any sort of immediate fight. He has been on fire with some crazy eliminations throughout this finals.
Looking good. We didn't see them go for height in the last game. They were incredibly low on materials starting off that end game, so they definitely ran into a bit of trouble in the later half of the mid game to, you know, beginning of that end game. So I'm curious to see.
1300 above, though.
Yeah, what went wrong previously? Now they're looking healthier than ever. Hopefully this time around, you know, a little bit less pressure going into it. For Doxy, Pablo, and Chino are... What are they waiting for here? It might be Marius. Don't knock on the wrong door, Marius. Shot comes through. No crack, though. Bit of time to run away, but with the pressure from every single angle, Chino's going to pick that up. And what a good refresh.
Just the wrong neighborhood there for Marius. But for Doxy, Pablo, Chino, off that refresh, they know that they've got Vanya and Pixie split in front of them. And even if both of these teams have to tank a little bit of lobby focus, it's pretty unlikely just because of their position. They're using this natural cliff face as some good coverage from where the congestion is actually pulling both these teams much more, I think, separated from the lobby, and just having the luxury now of doing things like what Pixie and Vanya are, just shooting at teams, trying to glide in later on.
This is tough. I mean, they were playing as a duo in the later part of the end game last match. They, you know, were able to take height, so I definitely have faith that they can get a good placement here, but once again, the difficulty level has risen. I see Akira back in business now, though, alongside Kararma and Warwick, so despite the trouble encounter with Vico Venoflixi, they have made it to the end game.
These Memmis grenades just open up so many more opportunities for how long teams can afford to tank some of these storm ticks. For Doxy, Pablo, Chino, just crouching their way through. They're trying to conserve as much material as possible. They want to challenge Ghost, Hyper, and Rule. They're trying to reserve that Memmis grenade if they can, but play for right now. They've got a great frontside position, though.
Yeah, looking powerful, looking strong. Don't want to commit to any fights in this portion of the match, but you know, some shots back and forth are more than enough. Queasy, what went wrong? Swizzy's on the ground. Murstache knocked as well. The focus is now fully onto Queasy. In the blink of an eye, they were looking... Things were looking so bright for this endgame, and now Queasy's at 37 HP, forced to use a med mist in the zone, just one tick away to going down, and they're out of the game.
Frenek just barely hanging 281 above because of that fight with Queasy's trio. This was a team that was desperate for some surge, and unluckily for Queasy, they were just the team that get caught up in the crossfire. Kudos to Frenek, though, making a heads-up play there. Big shutdown on the leaderboard there, too, for Queasy. They'll have to sit and wait what the outcome of Game 8 winds up being, what the point differentials are going to accrue towards. Ghost, Jewel, Hyper. Ever since they got prevented from moving forward by Prodoxy's team, they've been a little bit stuck at this base of Crime City Mountain, and now finally gonna get a move on. But 30 above, okay, good jump on the surge threshold, gonna buy them a little bit more time, but they really want to make sure they don't get stuck too far backside, because all those teams that are already based ahead of them are certainly going to be looking to clear out those late trail ends.
Yeah, I gotta be careful. From a duo to a solo, hey, he's got the damage, but solo v trios is a rough game to play when the moving zones haven't even begun. I got faith in Pixie, though. currently in zone. Hopefully can make it happen here. Has more Surge than Frodoxi's whole trio.
A lot scarier though for Pixie, knowing that there's a whole healthy trio behind him, and it's probably a good inkling to Pixie too that he knows that this is Frodoxi's trio, given that they've been kind of trailing a little bit after him ever since that initial elimination onto Matias. But Chino, Pablo, Frodoxy, they want to make sure that they are a fully intact team for this endgame. Even though it was an 8th place finish, getting 8 eliminations in that last lobby, and they're just looking to stack points. But Pixie, big knocks onto Ghost and Jewel.
Nice.
That damage is going to help so much.
Huge pull for Vico Veno Flixie. They were based up on this snowy mountain, and now they've pulled 8th zone. I mean, anywhere the moving zone goes to from here is going to be a huge benefit, as the teams down below are going to have a difficult rotate. Trulex, Teeny trying to see what they can do to kind of solidify a decent position, but Vico Veno Flixie setting up with hard mats already. This is looking like a potential back-to-back.
And even if the material had looked a little bit thin there on Veno, no worries. Flixie's got it covered. It was a smart investment though, Takada. They know that these shifting elevations, teams are going to be burning through materials like no other. And when they have such a cemented position overseeing the rest of the lobby, Vico is bound to be a nightmare to deal with. And Flixie, Veno, fully understanding all they want to do is just suppress secondary height for as long as possible, and that's going to be very feasible with these current loadouts.
Yeah, there's not another height in sight other than the island. But if it pulls double east, I mean, it could run through it. They're already so high up, though. We'll see how it does end up playing out. Mappy, Sheeden, a quick potential 3-2-1 here. They hear the shots, but now they see zone. Has pulled quite far. A little too risky to take a full-on engagement here, but it might be what they need to do.
Problem is, if they wait too long, it's just going to make it even easier for Height to pick them off instead. Pradaj and his team, they've already made their move. Pablo, Chino, Frodoxy also lurking nearby, but duos, they know better. They're just sticking hip to hip. One watches the front, one watches the rear. But Chino, Pablo, Frodoxy, all they want to watch is front side low. And currently, Frodoxy kind of spearheading the charge here, but spotted out Fincheck. He sees Upham, makes in focus in front of him too. Doesn't want to find himself getting fully cut off here. They're going to need to challenge one of these fights. They want to jump into the box, but they're trying to make sure they don't get pre-edited in the process.
They are going to be the ones doing the pre-editing here, it seems. Nice little recycling of their opponent's tarp. They saw the full trio playing calm collected. This could be a huge opportunity. The 3-2-1 comes through. No knock coming from it yet, but there it is. That's one. Looking for the second. They've now claimed a huge position. Good amount of mats, good amount of damage. They can focus on getting ahead of zone now.
Now they just wait for those teams that are getting fried in the mid-ground to start dropping to ultimate low. I'll be more than happy to collect all that loot, all those elims, but Veno, Flixie, Vico, 7 eliminations already on Height. Veno just continuing to tarp overhead. Flixie right by his side. Every single layer of Height that you'd want control over, Flixie and Veno currently hold on to. And Vico just playing as much disruption as possible. Death Beast for Strokey. A little bit smothered right now by Flixie's suppressive fire, but Teeny, he'll just play for the medkit. Doesn't really have anything else going for him right now. Just solo Takada, and even worse still, player pulling up from behind. Big elimination to close out match 8 for him, but for Oxy, Pablo, Chino, they're looking to try and run away with this low ground layer. They want to prevent anybody from challenging.
Be careful up above, though. The high ground retake has come through. They saw that they were in wood. No more harder or mats to be used to maintain onto that high ground, but the shots
Veno got it.
Need to most. Veno with a quick pickup. Is it going to grant him enough materials, though? As now the builds are getting placed. 9 trios.
Flixie holds it.
Like they've held on to height.
Flixie's got it, at least right now, but Demas, darn picks. They might make some waves here. They might cause a lot of disruption for Strokey. Leading the way at that front side low, but it's darn Demas They want their own piece of it. We're gonna play for the pre-edit. They've already tanked up Storm, but they've got this front side position fully locked down. Chino, Pablo, Ferdoxy now suffering the consequences, getting too stuck in the congestion. And Ferdoxy, he'll actually opt for these chug jugs. He just needs to play for placements.
Pablo doing what he can to get out. Heal off is gonna begin. Picks Demon Storm looking like Piranhas in the Rauder, taking out Andy. Solo duo that's been left behind, taking those shots, trying to secure a good spot to fight the 3v3 against Vico Venoflixi, but it might just be too difficult. Demus is out of mats. He's doing what he can to connect the shot, but as eliminations come through, Darm uses up his last dashes. Veno with the final pick.
Back to back.
Inspiration from
I like that.
We're gonna take home every match on EU as well, back to back victory royale so far in day.
Vico, but in the second game as well.
That's crazy. My top 2 on EU are correct, and my top 2 on NA are correct. Like, who the fuck picks them like me? Like, who the fuck picks them like me?
Is one of the matches to get eliminated off spawn, and they cannot let that happen if they don't want Vico Venoflixi to overthrow their spot on the leaderboard.
But Risk are usually what wind up being win cons. A lot of the Fortnite competitive landscape here. Karma, Split, Sato, a little bit tagged up. And for once, it's not the immediate 50-50 challenge inside of the Glacier Cove. Instead, it's going to be Sato, Split, and Karma touching down first, but Gabix, Clown, Wise, highly doubt that they
Start here to day 2. They've been going down before a majority of the placement points come. Ooh. Exciting back and forths.
leaderboard, Takata, and now it's all about just
How focused the Apco City and fans are getting.
happy Trexer. They can bite back. Uppel, incredibly low, but he's got his teammates.
Try and finish that knock.
All that newly acquired Surge with how difference for them. So they'll bide their time at Supernova Academy. No real rush just yet. Reason Chap Savage though, they gotta get a hustle on. They need eliminations and they need good placements. They have intentions of continuing to try and leapfrog over some of the other teams ahead of them on that leaderboard.
They know a good performance here could mean everything. Having their main competitors gone down with 0 points this match, being Vico Venoflixi in second. One big game could give them that advantage they need to close this tournament out. But if they go down
They're getting
here,
W.
it could be detrimental as Pablo gets quickly pushed. Chino on the support angle takes down Valerie with a quick knock. And now, from what looked like a problem, has came or turned into a bonus. Ferdoxy has to be careful though, getting cracked. Pablo as well.
Oh my fucking mops.
Pressure, amazing shots getting connected through. They cannot get knocked down here.
That was such a clear desperation move out of Leches, Valerie.
2,000 above
Any
Surge.
other options to resort to there. They just
Oh,
chose the first
fuck
team.
yeah.
They were already getting picked away by Surge, and unluckily enough for them, it's one of our leading contenders on the day, right? The first place team on the leaderboard currently. Ferdoxy, Pablo, and Chino just handle that fight very solidly, and that doesn't give any openings for Swizzy, Queasy, and Mustache to try and overtake hype. For the moment, they're content to just stick to that secondary hype measure and see what happens next.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna take height, you don't really want to do it against a trio that's low. Swizzy gets cracked now, over peaking a little, but an elimination came from it. I'd say that's worth it in my books. 4 on the board so far, as they were looking like they were in trouble for Surge, to now 306 above. Prime position to hold on to height if they've pulled the first moving. This is looking extremely bright for this trio.
Hero rank up was also rather convenient right then and there, but Panzer, Yapko, Seti trying to see if they can push a little bit further towards that direct front side low. Marius, Vanya caught. A little bit more action than what they would have bargained for, but Panzer doing a great job. They just skip all of that action and take frontside low by force. Tace and Chicho as a duo here, looking to survive. They've avoided most of the commotion though.
181 above though, the pressure's gonna be on this rotate, 28 seconds. The numbers quickly rising as Tayson starts to rotate. A big pump shot during this could be exactly what they need. He finds his teammate grouped up now as Pablo for Doxy Chino might look for a drop. Anything they can really find here. No need to take any risks with the amount of damage they have. The triple spray comes through. No drop found yet.
Oh, taking a little peek though towards Vanya, Medias, and Pixie. Opposite ends of frontside low. Vanya, Medias, Pixie, they'll be forced to use it. You need it. It cleans up super well in teams that are in a but they're getting for that damn need. Stash, one more knock just means another lifeline here for Mustache. Now has a medkit and a chug jug and just playing for a little bit of heal-off placements here, but he's being a real menace from the backside of zone.
Huge pickups as he makes it into zone once again. Does not want to run into a full trio though. He's gonna get ahead. High ground though. Be careful. It's Malabuka. Ping walks in the skies. Look at the overthrow it. Mustache dropped down to 9 HP. Forced to pop a medkit. Has a chug for the shield after. As now with 2 elims on the board, he's gonna do what he can to secure as many placements as possible. Marius left alone as well. It's looking like a whole world of solos currently, but Malabuka and Ping are the ones maintaining height.
And you have to remember, Malabuka, Ping, and Wox, they had that early skirmish with Ferdoxy's team, and Ferdoxy, they're looking to finish the conversation that they started at the beginning of this match. Ferdoxy now taking over height. It's also got that medallion running around Chino, Pablo, Ferdoxy. They are your new height overlords, and Pablo will be one of the first to drop. Zangy, Belusi, they might be able to play a little bit spoiler here, but Marius, as a solo, he's trying to get whatever points he can. They need to keep that third place position. They want to keep pushing forward on that leaderboard, but Marius, he's got all eyes on him, building for his life right now, Takada, and he just can't escape the spotlight.
Every point counts with Ferdoxy in the clouds doing what they can to close this out. Pablo surrounded by 3-4 knocked players, picking one after another. The issue is no more mats. He's forced to take the engagement, goes down. Ferdoxy's left alone, but he picks up Marius. Could be exactly what he needed to continue that control on height. It's all up to Ferdoxy now. Teeny going for the high ground play, unable to get the box. Everything is on the line here. He's forced to drop down. Just 6 materials left.
It doesn't matter what Ferdoxy's doing though. Seti, Yapko, Panzer, they're a healthy trio underneath. Finally, we'll see the conclusion, but Yapko, Seti, Panzer, they have so much HP to work with right now. In comparison, they've just got to lock down where this final player is at. Yapko, Teeny, trying to create some space. Panzer's got the heal off under his belt just in case, but the Siphon,
Another Siphon.
that might ruin it. Panzer does have a med kit, but he has to prevent himself from being taken out. Panzer gonna go all the way up to the top of the hill. And Teeny following, but Teeny doesn't have the HP for him. Panzer doing the dash. If it works, it works, and it's a big.
So the Flixie.
It's still looking really good for my prediction. We're going straight into late game for this one.
Tackling, howling inside of the box. It's just what you would expect of a fighter of their caliber, a player of their caliber.
Pressure as Ferdoxy's been fully eliminated once again, leaving Chino and Pablo as a duo to close the rest of this fight out. Zangy trying to do what he can to stay up and recuperate that shield that has been lost, but the pressure from Pablo is not going to stop. Looking for a quick piece, trying to stay ahead of his opponent, but nothing big coming through it yet.
But even with the numbers advantage, Rag, Zangy, and Belusi are still giving so much respect.
Y'all need to get the fuck out of here.
And Pablo Ingo,
Nice.
allowing them to kind of sit at the base of his gas station and heal up a little bit here. Fully in control of that vending machine too. And now Rax, Belusi.
Make it on the roof.
They might continue to try and hold Pablo and Chino in Storm, but the damage has been done here, Takada. This fight has now forced Pablo, Chino, and Ferdoxy to basically be sidelined in this lobby. They are at the mercy of teams that have had the luxury of being able to rotate before them, have had the luxury of being able to reboot before them, and just constantly playing a man down is going to make it so hard for them to recover.
Song is going to come through yet, but Zangy not scared.
Oh, we're fighting this then, I guess.
Zangy nearly got knocked. A little bit stuck on that edit, but we'll manage to lap back around. Now Belusi and Rax gonna take over here. There has to be a conclusion now, though, for Pablo and Chino. They've used the bulk of their material. They are left with practically nothing, and Pablo is just trying to disengage even
No.
further into Storm, but it's going to be of no use. Only Chino left. The odds of him making it towards Pablo's body, impossible. He's already been eliminated, and Chino hiding underneath the stairs here from Zengi and Rax. Malusi, they're just destroying everything around them, trying to see if they can get Chino to just pop out, but Chino, he only has about 5 seconds left. He has to try and take a shot here. His HP is not going to last otherwise, but he won't even be able to make it in. Just been held for entirely too long, and Zengi, Rax, Malusi
No.
played.
Sneaky play, dropping the shields before running up and getting eliminated. Do it. Everything you.
Down forward alongside his teammate. Gabby's just gonna roll right through instead. They want to stay out of the heat of the battle, and that's something that Seti Yapko.
I think it's gonna be enough to protect him for at least a few more seconds. Vico, Veno, Flixie now looking to get the performance they need to take that first place spot. The deal needs some tags for above. Only a few minis and a med kit left.
Fake it till you make it, Vidil. He's
No,
playing
man.
solo. He doesn't really have any other options.
You're 4 above.
Ahead to see if he can find
You got this.
pump connection. A refresh would be everything right now from his current standing.
We got Vaniac on high ground.
Placement points.
Oh,
But Vanya, Marius, Pixie, they
All right,
have to make
it's-
that journey.
it's gonna be an interesting one.
They've got control of height right now, Takata, and they have max material basically. Rags to riches kind of component here as Vidil ticked away once more by the surge. He needs to find a shot. And he connects, but it's just not enough. He's just not healthy. And he goes down. Merstash, Queasy. Could be a different outcome entirely. Midground. A little bit of a hold here. Kurama, Kiddo, X, underneath. Gotta watch him make sure that those floors don't suddenly disappear.
Great job holding it out as a duo, though. No longer playing for hype, and Kido is gonna go down. Bevy's left alone. 10 builds, and it's all wood. As he's just 11 shields left, forced to pop a couple minis, but unfortunately, from down under, is gonna get eliminated. Marius, Pixie, Vanya, looking healthier than ever above. Vico, Beno, Flixie, choosing more of a mid-ground route here. Actually gets the knock onto iDrop. Parry Kami now put into a world of pressure as they've gotten a massive elimination, putting them 1,800 above, and now with Zone pulling back, they're gonna recycle that tarp.
Vika, Veno, Flixie, though, they want more than just to recycle their old builds. They want to take control of the front side of Zone.
2,000 above.
Everybody else to the punch, have a chance to heal up a little bit, and now they just look back, they control their backside target, they can play through 3 edits. They have so much space claimed, though, in this front side low position. Another team just ahead of them, CZB, Axe Force, Nathan, they don't know that these are their builds. Vika opens up with some big shots, and CZB will be the first to fall. Nathan now trying to see if he can escape the clutches of Vino, Vico, Veno, and Flixie, but it's just not enough here, Takata. It's so many eliminations already for this team.
So many eliminations.
The chemistry is looking like an all-time high from Vico, Beno, Flixie. Yapko left alone, doing what he can to maintain that momentum from the previous win they just got in the last match, down to just a couple med mists. Now has a bit of time to breathe in the zone. Pixie, Marius, Vanya still without a single ounce of pressure up above, just raining down on the trios below them. Yapko now gonna make his way onto zone. Last med mist is gonna be used, has to find the angle here, kind of opening a path that he can later go through. I don't even know if he's gonna make it, though. He might hear Akira behind him. An opportunity for a quick siphon, but without the connection, he's not gonna get it. Falls to zone.
Just
No,
doesn't make it in
Vino,
time.
Veno, Flixie.
So stifling right now for Queasy, who's just barely managed to go undetected from the team on high. Marius, Vanya, Pixie, this is going to be a battle of high versus low. Veno, Vico, Flixie, one of the few teams that could be in a realistic chance of overtaking the high ground, but with the way that Marius, Veno are currently in control, Pixie will get
Nice.
Chico and Vico.
Vico, the best fragger on the region.
That knock, the elimination, siphon the materials, but more importantly, Vanya and Marius are
It's gonna be hard to chop them.
This trio. 9 eliminations, make it 11. Flixie just waiting.
Well, you're gonna
to
match
see
them though.
Whether it'll be Vanya or Marius who drops first. Marius loses all of his shields. Flixie doesn't have any either. Cammy now wanting
Vico
to
goes down.
and it's
Benno down.
Benno. They're gonna pay the ultimate price with their lives. Marius and Vanya somehow.
Cammy's out here griefing second height.
Cammy and Adi though. Talk
But it's a top 4 for them.
situation. They just ruined it for Benno, Vico, and Flixie. And now Cammy gonna try and ruin it for Marius on hype, but he can't make it up. The misform doesn't take him high enough. Chicho, Aegis, and Tayson all the while. They might not have materials, but they have each other. And that could be the deciding outcome here. Vanya falling back, has a little bit of HP still left in the chunk.
Oh, it's a heal off.
Similar mentality, but Vanya
Oh, it's a heal off.
left. He has to actually chase after Chicho, but they're just too far away. Chicho still has his misform too. Chicho's still getting tagged up from behind. Vanya might just be able to close the gap. Vanya makes it happen. Marius makes
Good
it.
shots.
Vanya
Good fucking
steals
shots.
This one away. What an upset.
You can't run. You can't hide. Vanya, Pixie, Marius.
Very good game.
Oh my. It's close. It's fucking close.
The way the cookie's gonna crumble.
I feel like they knew they were getting dropped on too with, you know, Ferdoxy.
Alright, we're watching these 2 games out. Fuck it.
Get a, you know, quick bit of
Fuck
practice
it.
in.
Fuck it.
Started. Looks like it was Robin, Kylie, and Co.
Chino's not convinced.
I have 1 hour until I gotta get ready for work anyway.
Someone is.
See ya.
And he's trying to outlurk them. Ferdoxy and Pablo can take care of the other affairs, but Chino's sick of the wait. Ready to get a move on, get a little bit more involved. But Robin, silent as a mouse, just tucked away inside of the buildings at Supernova Academy, and Chino isn't careful. Could find himself getting knocked, and that would leave them in a pretty awkward position. But Robin as a solo, even if he gets one, he still has to deal with the other 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's a battle from, you know, opposite ends of the leaderboard. It's almost been a blessing for Pablo, Ferdoxy, and Chino. Some quick eliminations off the start. But the issue is, you know, you can get the good elims, but the whole point, the whole play style from Ferdoxy, Chino, and Pablo is to be very quick in the early game and get out of there as fast as possible and start disrupting the players around you. So it's going to be tough that they can't do that anymore. Looks like for Cammy, Hypedrop, and Hari, though, huge start, especially considering the place they are right now in the standings. This is exactly what they wanted.
It's not only that, but it seems like that earlier, somewhat of a gentleman's agreement where both teams had initially been splitting Shining Span, and Cammy Hardy, they got sick of it. They're like, what are we giving these guys half our POI for? So early fights, early outcomes just mean more stealth opportunities. Foxy Floodgate could start getting a little bit of motion here from Maciak for Hala. Kaisers, all depends. Are they going to be able to find a big opening shot here onto Trexer or Mappy? They are so patient. The discipline right now, Takada. They want to be fully convinced that it's over for Trexer before they take that first shot. The 3, 2, 1.
Oh.
It's right there, but Trexer, he might just get far enough. Still, Maciak, Kaiser for Hala.
Little quicker, come on now.
I'm more amazed at the fact that someone in a surge base that's at like the top of the stairs of Narnia hasn't spotted what's going down here, though. Maybe it's just a little bit too early. They're not done with building the ramps just yet, but...
One gray AR. Not sure what the teammates are looking like. This is a good opportunity, though. Trexer is a bit split up now at the vending machine. If they want to make a play, I mean, I guess they're banking on them heading over here.
They're just far enough away that if they don't connect with the 3, 2, 1 immediately, they're probably cooked because Maciak only has a gray Spire rifle. These guys
here it is.
are just hoping that they can finish this.
Oh no!
But Trexer throws up the wall. They don't even get the chance to take a shot. They were scouted out before. Still, Trexer on the run, dropping all the way to the bottom of Foxy Floodgate. Sound the alarms though. Rest of his team knows this is a mayday situation. They're trying to catch up, but Trexer, connection out of Perhala. But here are the troops. Mappy. Reinforcements have arrived. Perhala, Maciak, Kaisers. Maciak incredibly hurt. He needs Perhala and Kaisers to give some supportive measures here. But now they're playing a little bit more split than what they had initially been after. Mappy, Trexer cheating. Might actually be able to 180 this into their favor.
It's a tough spot to be in though. Stuck without anywhere to go. Perhala gonna either have to hit a big shot here to make something happen. Trexor looking for an angle. Good news is no potential third parties in sight. If you look at the bottom right in the mini-map.
The other issue that's developing though is that with Rift Island spawning in shortly, there's definitely going to be other teams that are going to get drawn to the area. It's a bit of an awkward spot for them to be fighting in. Perhala, Kaisers, Maciak, they've essentially burrowed themselves into a hole that they aren't going to be able to get out of unless they fight their way through. Trexer, Mappy, and Cheatin', but Trexer, Mappy, Cheatin', they've got every angle closed off. This entrapment and Kaiser shield gone. It's HP soon to follow. Perhala, though, is full around inside the box, but they are fully pieced up. Trexer, Mappy, Cheatin', making quick work of Maciak's trio. 2 eliminations. Only survivor right now is Perhala, but with no shield and just waiting for that cooldown refresh. He's not going to get the chance on the cape. He's fully locked out.
Yeah. Taking a bit too long for the 3-2-1. Got forced into the worst situation, stuck down below. Still got one more match though to make something happen. Snazy on the other end, barely escaping with that mist form right on into the bush. But when you got Queasy and Swizzy chasing after you, it's only a matter of time. No big shots coming through yet. Seems like a whole other trio actually playing. Yeah, a whole other trio close by. Queasy has to be careful of potential 3-2-1 to come onto him.
Queasy's got red in his eyes. It's actually Swizzy that's going to be the first one knocked from Ivan Ortiz and Ifrozi intervening. Queasy just hoping that he can make some form of escape, but that is not going to be an option. He'll have to wait for the final lobby, and they're going to need a big performance because right now they were just sitting outside of that top 5 threshold on the leaderboard, Takada, and this early spill is going to be very disastrous for that leaderboard.
Yeah, that's tough. It's incredibly close in the top 5 currently, so going down in 6th place now is definitely not what you want. Ivan gonna go help his teammate now. I don't think they know that Snazy is in that bush directly in front of them though.
That's fine. They don't need to know. That's what Snazy is kind of banking on, that these guys have no idea, but Ivan's a little bit quicker than that, and Snazy, it's just a lot of delays. I like the fact that, there's still some life left in the fight, but Snazy knows his time is up in match 11. Ivan, Ifrozi, and Artis just picked the perfect time to strike. And that's a big part of the problem spread across the map here, Takada, is that teams that weren't anticipating these early fights, you just don't know what's going to happen at your drop because so many different elements are just shifting at once.
Trulex left as a solo. Not the spot you want to be in, being kind of on, not the literal borderline, but pretty close to it for qualifying to globals. So going down here, not a good look. The good news is no pursuit onto him, so a bit of time to kind of play it slow here, wait for the zone to pull on in, and then go for that reboot in the zone when it's less likely that there's players around you.
It's just having to wait, though, for those teams in the surge base to actually rotate out, because a trio could very easily, even if they don't get that elimination, they just hold you for so long. Pablo, Chino, Verdoxy now opting try and apply some pressure against Pixie and Vanya and their surge base. And Vanya, Pixie, we know that they love stockpiling more than enough heals. They're not really in any threat right now, but Volko, Vadil, Cringe, they are just getting collapsed on right now. And Cringe, it's Artis, Ifrozi, and Ivan that they took the challenge with. Cringe might be able to ultimately win this battle, though, and that would be massive for Vadil and Volko. And RT's definitely feeling the pressure. He's gonna try to run away. He wants to at least play spoiler. He's trying to make it to Cringe's teammates' bodies. He wants to eliminate them fully, just make this lobby all the more difficult for Vadil's trio. But Cringe closing in. It's kinda, he might be able to just play for the revive and just draw Artis in closer to him. But he has to start going for a revive because he needs to heal his teammates before they get knocked by the storm.
So much pressure on Cringe's shoulders here. Is able to pick up the deal though. Now upper hand in the 2v1. The pursuit's gonna come through, but I was gonna say go for Volko, but a little too late. Volko goes down. The good news is now they're able to bring Volko back into the game shortly here, and it could have been a lot worse if Cringe ended up going down, but Vico Veno Flixi getting a bit of movement in.
Veno, see if he can get the opening shot onto Atris, but gotta choose your battles wisely. Veno, Vico, Flixi, they know whether they get these knocks or pure eliminations. They wanna lock down their surge damage. Vico, Veno, Flixi from overhead. A little bit of smothering taking place now for Tastage Trio. They're definitely feeling the pressure. And Vico not willing to budge either on Atris's wall. Veno from overhead trying to open up a separate angle to try and get a little bit of additional pressure in, but Chicho and Tayson, they are boxed up tight. They do not want to allow for any small openings, any cracks to slip through, but they're constantly on the back foot here, just getting pushed further and further back into Storm.
Another full trio too, getting closer and closer, sneaking on up. The danger levels are rising, and they know this. Chicho doing what he can to back up a little further. Flixi, Vico, and Veno know how important it can be to finish these off. These fights off quickly. As Tayson gets knocked, it's exactly what they're gonna end up doing. Medmiss gonna come through. Vico now looking for an angle, a potential full box onto Haris here. He gets it, he connects.
Oh my full box.
For the trio, but now the third party is very close, and this could be detrimental.
This is where that Spire control really comes into play. Vico, Veno, and Flixi made a fast enough set of eliminations there that now, even with Wheat, Sinet, and Nefrizi looking to try and challenge them, this might be more than what Wheat, Sinet, and Nefrizi had bargained for. They'll probably just be happy to take the leftovers of Chicho. But one more time, Takada, we're looking at teams in that top 5 threshold of the leaderboard that are just encountering some early problems, some early departures. And now Nefrizi, Sinet, they might just need to take that victory and try and bail out of here, because Veno, Flixi, and Vico are knocking down the doors, and they might just force Sinet into a fight that he doesn't want at all, just continuing to try and run away. But Veno refusing to let this one go.
I mean, it was looking for a moment like a dangerous third party, but Vico, Veno, Flixi, they're all for it. They said, come on over. We'll invite you to the party, actually, if you want. As now the aggression's onto them. Sinet, Wheat, and Frizzy doing what they can to escape. Turned into predator to prey quite quickly, but Vico, Veno, Flixi now, they're going to take the safe route. They got their eliminations, they got their damage. They're running a bit low on materials here, so no point in continuing with that pursuit. They're going to back up, play calm, collected again, recuperate those mats, and go forwards. But hold on, Uppel, focus, Mixin. Maybe they're not even done pushing these players.
Veno, Vico, and Flixi are just cutting off so many separate teams. Chap, Reason, Savage, in a different fight for survival at Resistance base. Get a little bit of a look back. Savage, nice knock onto Jewel. Savage and Chap looking to secure this fight, which just means that Reason very likely going to be brought back into this one, but continuing what was taking place with Vico, Veno, Flixie, Upple, and Focus. Now trying to see if they can disengage, but they are completely trapped right now in the clutches of Veno's team. But Veno,
Oh, no.
he's gonna be the one knocked.
Oh,
Vico
no.
follows shortly after, and Flixie, last man standing now for Veno's team. But a huge refresh for Focus, Upple, and Mixon. Catastrophic results there, though, for Veno's team. And that is going to completely put their plans to a halt in Game 11.
Were they feeling too confident? Just gifted Upple, Mixon, and Focus some of the best loot in the game. I'm pretty sure Chino, Pablo, and Ferdoxy are looking quite strong in this game. They're kind of just doing the safer Surge Tower, Surge ramping strategy early on, and now Flixie forced to play it alone. It's gonna be late to the end game. Not as good loot. I mean, if any trio is gonna make a comeback though, Flixie gets the reboot. Wouldn't be surprised if we see them fight once again, and all it takes is one trio wipe to kind of get what you lost. You can see a little bit of how it went down. Quick shot onto Veno.
Just the perfect split approach. And the moment that Veno was compromised, Vico wanted to try and make it towards his teammate and ended up working against him. But we did get a chance to preview Savage, Chap, and Reason winning their exchange too. So they were able to play for the reboot. Reason is back in the match. And you have to remember, these have been some pretty big swings for teams that are just hugging that qualifying range.
It's getting nerve-wracking. The pressure is definitely on here. Just like a match and a half left. One match after this. We can take a look now at how Ferdoxy, Pablo, and Chino are looking. 3 elims on the board. Spare shields now just waiting for a bit of extra damage on the trios rotating. Definitely a lot healthier than Vico, Veno, Flixie at the moment. Right when the gap was closed, it could potentially get put further once again. But the
big,
reboot's
though.
gonna come through, and the comeback begins.
They still have to recover all of that lost surge. They still have to try and make the rotate in. And they still have to try and deal with Pablo, Ferdoxy, and Chino, where the ball's basically in their court, Takada. All they have to do is play consistent. And if there's one thing that this team has been throughout the course of this weekend, it is consistent at making it both into those end games and absolutely fragging out in the process.
Yeah, I don't think you can be more dead center in a zone. You saw them marking the section of the zone that's in Storm as well, that they'll quickly be the first to rotate to. They are honestly primed up in terms of positioning and ready to make it happen, but... And Kidoi, Pastrokey, Bevies. Big match is what we want to see come from this trio. 8th place on the leaderboard. 15 above the cutoff currently to qualify 2 globals. And they can secure that spot quickly here with a good match.
Ooh. Little friendly tag from Bevies. He knows the direction that it came from, though. Take a little bit of refuge inside the buildings. During the process of this rotate. Slight fall damage, but there's a little bit of wiggle room for error here. It's not like it's anything that's going to compromise him just yet, but Pablo, Ingo, Ferdoxy, Chino, another team in their midst. And they could care less. They'd rather focus exclusively on positioning. They know that if they get boxed and set up in an elevated position, any other teams that are looking to challenge them in the surrounding area are going to have so much difficulty with just getting to where they're at on height. But Seti Yapko Panzer approaching from the dead side of zone. And they're going to be the first ones to let Pablo, Ferdoxy, and Chino know this is actually our spot, not yours.
One step ahead. That's what you tend to see with Seti. I mean, we talked about it in the last major. When a new meta begins, when there's a new start, the pros you'd look at was Cammy, Seti, but I mean now, with the new trios being formed, you can always count on them. Unfortunately though, the zone has pulled to quite literally the opposite side of the map from them. Would have been an insane position to play the match out from, but they're quick on the rotate here.
Only so much that can be done. Looking into what Meridius, Vanya, and Pixie have been up to though. Wouldn't say that they're caught, but definitely a handful of teams slightly positioned, blockade them a little bit at the crest of that hill peak. Vico Veno Flixie though on the underbelly of the low ground, just looking around. I mean, you can tell that they're trying to set up for the pre-edit, and they've got enough space to work with. It's really just going to boil down to, are there any teams in desperate need of surge? Tinas and Geddes, they might have just given away their position though. As soon as movement was detected, Vico Veno Flixie looking to fight their way back into this one. 261 above that surge threshold, but they want every refresh possible, Takada. They're gonna need some heals if they want to work through this endgame.
They always play aggressive, but they're gonna have to play a bit extra aggressive here to come back from the hiccup that they ran into. Almost getting knocked down there. All three players still up though. Cammy, Hurry, iDrop. A lot on the line for this trio. Being in that 9th place spot, you saw from the quick stat, there's 4 trios that will qualify today to the Global Championship, but with 5 of the trios already on the top end of that leaderboard, it's top 9 is what you need to get a spot in the Globals, and Cammy's literally the cutoff currently for that. Yapko, Seti, Panzer in a much more comfortable positioning on the standings, but still have a couple matches to go. They cannot go down this early.
But on the other end of that spectrum, Seti versus Cammy, that narrative, it isn't just going to disappear overnight. And Yapko with a big shot onto Hizix. That is a huge body tag to find. And it is now forced everyone else to just immediately pull back. They do not wish to try and challenge Yapko, Seti, and Panzer. And it's realistically gotta just about whether or not some of these fan favorites can just barely manage to trickle their way in. You already called it. We've seen more teams than what there are slots available for that global championship. And Savage, Tabriz, they are one of them, trying to force their way to France. But this damage threshold is working against them. They've got a little bit of line focus on them too. Trying to see if they can go for a little bit more of a sideways approach, but team holding frontside low, that's going to be a real problem for them.
Vico alive.
Somebody else can intervene
After
here.
game
Vico
10,
is
every
low.
team has now been hit by Storm Surge. Oh my god.
No shield to work with. Vico's literally one good pump
Beno,
away from
nice.
getting eliminated. Beno now
We love that.
Flixie, the last player of the trio with shield still, but that knock is going to grant them a bit more time as the shots continue to connect. They might just have to go all in for this. They need the loot. They need the refresh. And this is
They get it.
Vico, Veno, and Flixie
Flixie
know
down.
They have to take every single attempt. But Flixie being knocked, Veno just trying to make it towards his body to see if he can gather the loot from his teammate. Good amount of builds though. That's something.
Pulls back to Foxy Floodgate, pulls west.
It's all about whether or not Prodoxy, Pablo, and Tino are in a similar position, or if they're in a much healthier section. But Pink, Nebs, and Kiro, they're looking to try
Prodoxy
to have a
on the east side of the
monumental
mountain.
second.
That's not good.
And they need this, Takada. They
Right now,
want
that's
to try
670.
and find their way into that leaderboard for the global championship, and they're so close.
They desperately need this taco. I know Levin's smiling looking at this right now, but the job is just getting started. 156 above. They're going to want to hold on to this height for the rest of the game. A win is literally what they need to put them in contention for a spot in France. Pablo now for Doxy, Chino forced to go.
Prodoxy on the front low.
But be careful as Chino gets cracked, put into panic, but his teammates have his back.
Trying to figure out whether or not Pablo, Prodoxy, and Tino look just as scuffed
This
as
is
Veno
huge
and
for them.
Vico, but slightly better position since they actually have all three teammates running. Veno and Vico still looking to try and maneuver their way. They're just one layer above ultimate low on the front side. And they'll have the opportunity to heal up from the Chug Jug, but they don't have heals to actually outlast the lobby. Nice little body collection. If Veno can actually hold the wall here, Vico will find those final tags just to make sure that they can claim all the loot, but Veno dashing forward immediately. Without the misform available, he's gonna have to fight his way through the lobby. And he's got Vico right next to him. Chino, Prodoxy, Pablo.
We got first place on the top right. We got second place in the bottom right. Got a drone shot on the left. Oh, this is lit. Oh my gosh.
Zone pull back for Pink on height, allowing them to conserve so
Our
many
first
materials.
place team.
Gotta be careful now. He's out of mats. He's dropped to
Jeez.
23 HP.
Our first place team is a full trio is what I meant to say. Sorry, I'm just so into this. Oh my fuck. There's dashes on your left.
They might be the ones that Pablo, Prodoxy, and Gina can thank later on, but Gina, job's not finished. They've still got to work with what they've been given. They're gonna try to continue to hold their spot on that front side low, but Seti and Panzer on the other fold of it might look to try and sandwich them along the way. Pink, Nebs, Kyoto still posing so much of a threat. They see the Menmis grenades. They're just trying to apply pressure onto teams that are looking to heal up. Heavies now has fallen. Pixie might be able to take advantage of stealing the loot away, and that's perfect for Vanya.
Nice block.
Pixie, Vanya right behind them. Pablo comes charging in next to Chino. They're just trying to get as fraggy as possible right now.
Hopefully, they pick up a few more. Vanya's fully cracked, though. Pixie's potentially going to be left as a solo. Great job grouping up, though. They have a bit of time to heal. Chino going right on in with a huge bomb on the Vanya, though. You can't get too comfortable. Pixie will get the knock. Full Elim now, but he's left alone.
Pixie will be forced to play it as a solo, and with the rest of the lobby already looking to close
I was gonna say, what's up with Ferdoxy?
I buy him a little bit more time.
Ferdoxy solo clutch with the outlaw shotgun. I like that.
Been eliminated. Kiro trying to hold it down. They needed such a strong performance to kind of to surge their way up the leaderboard. And for Doxy, he's just looking to hold on to first as long as he possibly can.
Oh my, 1v2. Oh my. Ferdoxy's a fucking goon.
That might be the answer that Ferdoxy needed. And he's looking to cause even more.
What a goon.
Teams on hype.
That was so many points because it's placement points.
With his positioning,
And
he's drawn the attention of the high ground team.
oh my.
Has to be careful. Pixie knocking on his door. Gets
Top 6. Let's go.
Pixie with the quick
Huge.
elimination is now Uppel forced to drop down. They want the refresh, but Pixie looking potentially unstoppable here as the pressure's onto him. He has the heals, but not the time. Gets eliminated by Focus. Uppel now forced down below with the mist form, trying to group up with his teammate. It's a 2 versus 1. I drop the solo. Pressure is on. Shot connects and Focus with
Oh
the
my
10
gosh.
eliminations.
What a
Secures the win for his
crazy
team.
game 11.
About Vico
Ferdoxy in first by 100 points. Let's go. That's huge. Benno and them. Oh my god. Anyone game. 10 points separates second and third.
Better and Flixie, Mini Miner. Sorry to interrupt you there, but this was a bit of a miraculous game for them. They managed to pull off a 4th place. Oh no, sorry, not a 4th place, an 11th place here.
Oh
but it's
my.
surprising because Flixie was left solo very early at the start of the game.
Yeah, at this point here, you know, you have the chasers trying to close in. They're trying to find some eliminations early on. They're trying to get their Storm Surge done, but oh no, what's happened? Venno and Vico both gone down, leaving Flixie as a solo. And at this point, I thought, yeah, there's got to be wraps now, right? But the way that Flixie was able to get these guys back up, and not only that, be able to make their way into the end game, and of course, find some Storm Surge tags, find some
Crazy.
to pick up refreshes. And this is the moment right here, trying to find as much damage as they
Crazy.
can. They were a little bit below. Wasn't a problem for these guys at all. So the fact that they were able to get some points from this game 11 was a really, really great job from these guys. It keeps them just about in contention. It wasn't an ideal game though, so they'll have to go back to the drawing board now for the last game.
Look, the problem when you're chasing a team playing as well as Ferdoxy's trio is that good isn't good enough, right? They have to do enough, and to be enough, you have to be better than good. If you catch what I'm saying right now, Mini, look, they can hold on in these games. They can find the silver lining and get a couple points here and there. They need to push past Pablo, Fred, and Chino, and that is going to be a tough ask right now.
Well, let's look at that top 9 at the moment, because as we have a number of trios have already qualified for global championships, we do know the amount of positions we have, right? 4 left, and as we already have, I'm just doing the maths here, so we already have 5 trios that have qualified in the top 10. We can see those positions and who's currently sitting in a spot to go to France. So obviously we can see Bevies, Festroki and but I really want to talk about 2 trios here. and they are Seti's trio and Cammy's trio. Who would have thought it at the start of this tournament that we'd see both of them now in a spot? And Seti's trio, they pretty much already guaranteed it, Levin.
Yeah, Seti's trio sitting very comfortably right now. They won't be stressing. They just need to make sure, again, they hold on, they don't do anything too silly. But I think they will be good. It's the teams below them that really starting to worry. And because you mentioned the teams in position, right? Some of the teams just behind that, right? In 10th, Mr. Savage's trio, they are right behind. They have a real opportunity here to do something special, to make the dream happen, keep the dreams alive.
Yeah, this is the fan favorite team, right? This is the team that I'm sure everyone at home will be egging on to get into the Global Championships. Everyone wants to see Mr. Savage. Everyone wants to see Reason on LAN in France, EU home LAN. It's got to happen for them. And it all comes down to this. They're not that far behind. What are they, 20 points or so behind? So that can definitely be turned around in this last game. Of course, they need the teams above them to not do so well. But what we've seen from these guys all weekend is their ability to clutch up in endgame, their ability to make these games happen. So if there's any chance for them to do it right now, I think they're in a really good state to do it.
They have to do everything. There is no barking up the wrong tree for these guys. Do what it takes to make it happen.
But when you look at the names on that team, when you look at the potential of Chap, when you look at the experience of Reason and of Savage, you know that these are three names that could be very much booking a spot in the Global Championships. We're going to head now into Game 12, and after this, we'll find out who will be representing us in Lyon.
The final hour is finally upon us, Takada. One last ride on the Battle Bus for the Major 3 Grand Finals, and we will soon have our Blade of Champion wielders. Game 12, let's get it.
Game 12, let's get it.
It's getting heated. Pablo Ferdoxy Chino leading the pack with Vico, Veno, Flixi close behind them. In Major 2, Pablo Ferdoxy and Chino, like Evan was talking about, got second place, now pushing for first. And we have a potential Cammy and Seti both making it to the Global Championship, but not as teammates. This time as competitors, each player looking to go 4 for 4 for these in-person events. They played together Invitational. They qualified the last 2 Global Championships, and all that's left now for them in the path ahead is to qualify to this upcoming one. Can both of them do it? As we kick things off.
Can't have one without the other. So we'll have to wait and see whether Cammy gets the job done. Seti Yapko are likely did more than enough homework to lock in, but Chino, Pablo Ferdoxy, clearly uncontested this time at Supernova Academy. And it's the same story for Veno, Flixi, and Avico. No surprises waiting for them at their drop here at Brutal Boxcars. So, despite some of the tensions that have kind of been driven up throughout the course of today's games, Takada, we are seeing everybody kind of get their fair shot at that top 3 for our current top 3 on the leaderboard.
Also talking about, qualifying range for the Global Championship, there's a 56-point difference between 9th and 14th. Any of those trios, even outside of that 14th spot with a good enough match, can qualify to the Global Championship. As a reminder, there's 4 trios that will qualify. However, due to previous trios already having qualified, that spot is 9th on the leaderboard. So a top 9 currently will put you in the Global Championship.
But for Ferdoxy, Chino, and Pablo, Ferdoxy said it last major, I want to do something special. And that starts with bringing in Chino and Pablo. A lot of sacrifices made. Pablo split from a longtime teammate. Chino split with Pink and Nebs. And obviously, it worked out for them last major, Takada. But it's about one step further every single time. And to win this Major 3 finals heading into the Global Championship would just be surreal momentum, I would expect, for Ferdoxy's team especially. But Chap, Savage, and Reason, the world is on their shoulders.
And pressure is on for this last match. Savage played 22-23 lands. Missed 2024, where Chap got 6. Reason has played all 3. And now the trio looking to make it happen once again here, but What we can tell from Frodoxy, Pablo, and Chino is they are...
God tier Lou.
Yeah, they are kitted out. They are definitely kitted out for this last match.
Sometimes it almost comes across in the world of Fortnite where it just really feels like a team might have bot armor. Frodoxy, Chino, and Pablo, by any means necessary, they're looking to maintain this first place position on the leaderboard. They want those Blades of Champions in their locker. And it might be a little bit of an issue maybe in terms of hesitancy, but with the way that they played, the confidence that they've had throughout all 12 games to this point, I don't think that I would ever anticipate them to play scared. And that's why I think so many people have had a lot of kind of confidence in the type of performance that Frodoxy's team might be able to pull off this LAN or this event.
See how close it is from the quick stat, but hold my thought, Frodoxy. You were talking about it, not a trio that's going to be scared to get aggressive here, even if it's the last match of the last major before the Global Championship. Picking up that quick elimination, good way to kick it off.
It's hard not to want to autopilot and start fantasizing about wielding that Blade of Champions too if you are in Frodoxy, Chino, and Pablo Wingo's position. You're making every single endgame. Even if you're not a fully intact trio during those endgames, you're still converting eliminations into winning opportunities. And now Frodoxy chasing out. Not even sold that he realizes Howley is still on this beachfront with him, but Frodoxy thinks that he might have gone further up the hill. As soon as he wraps around this rock, he'll realize Howley nowhere left to run. Mistform's gonna come out, but Chino, Pablo, Frodoxy, they're all just simultaneously thinking, bro, please just go down already. Frodoxy will find himself being knocked too, but Pablo and Chino, they can play for the double revive. That's a nice set of eliminations to grab there, though.
Yeah, no stress for them.
Good.
As Vico, Veno, Flixi, does Seti know? Does Seti know there's a full trio in the same building as him as he continues farming, matting up? This would be catastrophic for Panzer,
no.
Yapko, and Seti. Panzer's on track to qualify for his first ever FNCS LAN. And like I mentioned earlier, Seti looking to go 4 for 4, but it looks like the shots have come through. Veno's gonna try and knock out Panzer from the sky. Unable to connect, the Seti's done what he can to escape from the building. The trap, as not a single player has been knocked yet, but it might just be a matter of time.
Another player even further away, but this has been settled down to the low ground. Seti is going to be knocked. Seti eliminated here. Vico, Veno, Flixi closing in now onto Panzer and Yapko. They're just too hurt after getting chopped out. A little bit of panic now ensuing, but Yapko trying to keep his wits about him. He watches as Panzer gets eliminated right next to him. Veno, Vico, Flixi standing tall here at Lone Wolf Lair, but a third party could ruin the fun here as Vico, Veno, Flixi trying to be wary. Wheat, Nefrizi, and Sined have now jumped into the dog pile. But for Vico, Veno, Flixi, they're just content to take their wins here. Levin said don't get silly, and Seti, Yapko, Panzer, they weren't being silly. They just were casualties of not keeping enough of a lookout. Veno, Vico, Flixi, they just wanted it more.
Yeah, it's kind of an unfortunate end, but hey, the good news is I think they have more than enough points to qualify to the Global Championship, so unfortunately they won't get a very, high top 3, top 2 placement, but they will be in France, so we'll see how that performance ends up coming through, and hey, hopefully Cammy can get a good performance here to join Seti and be 4 for 4 as well.
It's all about seeing who are going to be those 4 fresh trios headed towards the Global Championship. Mixin, Upple, Focus. After that last game, they know that this is the closest that they have been this entire weekend to locking down the Global Championship. And you've really got to keep your mental fortitude going strong here, because any sort of hiccup could be all it takes for the rug to get pulled out from underneath you. So they're probably going to play it safe, and they're not the only teams looking to do so.
Patience can be key, especially in these final matches, but I mean, from our perspective, we can see on the mini-map, no trios in sight. Potentially just waiting for a zone. Mr. Savage, Chap Reason now. This could be it.
This is going to be the fight that determines whether or not Chap, Savage, and Reason are going to be able to set up for the end game. Teeny eliminated. Chap, Savage, Reason still trying to see if they can find any more. A little bit of a halt here, though. Tayson, Trulex, Chicho, all these other teams are going to be an issue, but the starting point is that Chap, Savage, Reason, the way that they just collapsed so quickly onto Teeny, Trulegs is lucky to still be alive right now. Had it not been for Tayson, Atrus, and Chicho showing face, this could have gone a completely different way for him, but even still, stuck.
That's a big elimination, though, for Mr. Savage, Reason, and Chap. I mean, they're in 10th place, and the trio in 11th is Teeny, Skavi, and Trulex. They're literally one placement behind them. So being able to eliminate them this early on.
That's huge. Yo, Flipping Flopper, what it do? Thanks for the follow, bro. Flipping Flopper.
Still, this Trulex knowing what type of performances he's had on the global stage for the past couple of years now, Takada, to miss out on this first time ever would be if Trulex doesn't make it here today.
Doxy and Storm.
That would just be so tough.
This is our first place team.
But they can still look to bring this one back. Storm methods have clearly panned out very well for so many teams. For Doxy, Chino, Pablo, definitely one of them. And Kurama and Werex have got to be really careful that they don't get caught out inside of the Storm.
Benya Pixie Marius, though, doesn't have to worry too much about that. We've seen the amount of heals that they rack up with their early game strat. But it looks like Mr. Savage, Chap Reason once again taking pop shots at a different trio. This time it's CZB, Nathan, Axe Force.
CZB Axe Force debating whether or not they want to get a little bit more involved with this fight, or if they think that they have the better angle to try and take a third-party approach. Savage, Chap Reason, they don't want it to end here. Not now, not yet. They still have more fight left in them. That's why we see both ends of this engagement. This is out somewhat. Chap trying to see. If Chap gets this knock onto CZB, that might be the determining factor here for whether or not Savage's team decides to fully commit onto this fight. A bit more brawl, but Chap comes up big time. Axe Force knocked. Axe Force eliminated. Odds are in Savage's favor, and they have fully boxed up Nathan. He just barely managed to get his way out, but Savage, Chap, and Reason.
Production, no.
The next, that's all it takes at times. Chino, Pablo, they might have a lead, but that doesn't mean that they want to find themselves with an early departure from the final lobby of the day. The less chances of Venom catching up, the better. Double revive, though. And Chino, Pablo for Doxy. Now they're just left to duke it out with the Frenchies. Redix and Kurama off in the distance, trying to run away.
This is not where you want to go down, being the first place trio. Luckily enough, despite Prodoxy getting knocked, looks like they did come out on top. A little bit of pressure, but now feeling even better.
Still a little bit lower on the material count than what they would probably want to be. But they had more than enough time to make up for it. Just a replay of how exactly they managed to overcome that exchange, and just really well monitored by Chino and Pablo. Taking the better angles. Biko, Veno, Sangild lurking. But he's a solo, and I don't think that this is the fight he's looking for. But granted, if Vico gets pushed back into him, Sangild might just ruin everything for Veno, Vico, and Flixie.
They cannot afford to go down here. Nice shot coming through, but it's not enough for a knock. Veno completely cracked. The good news is they've regrouped and they have time to heal.
It's another one of our first through third teams, though. Pixie. Oh, excuse me. Pigstorm, Demus are the ones looking to get involved, but this is still very troublesome for Veno, Vico, and Flixie. Pigstorm and Demus are no foreigners to a good box fight here, Takada.
Not at all, but looks like they were pretty quick to kind of keep on moving towards the zone. Kind of just caught them on the rotate, but don't want to take any risks. As now, seems like they'll slow down here for a bit.
It's almost like time just stood still there for a moment. Inside of Utopia City, Veno, Vico, Flixie, 4 eliminations, rounded up as is, and Big Storm Demas still kind of hugging along the side, kind of mimicking the rotate that Veno, Vico, and Flixie were taking.
I drop Ari and Cammy though. This matches everything. Not close to as comfortable as a lot of the trios in the top 3, top 5. Being in 7th.
Cammy, not playing with Steady anymore. I think Steady already got killed this game.
More than 20 points off. They need to have a good performance here.
And knowing that
I'm going for Savage
locked in, but
over
revisiting
Cammy.
what had started to
We got our second place team
at Utopia,
and
Veno
first
Vico
place
on
team going at it.
Pablo Chino, first and second, might actually just clash head on here, Takada.
Oh
Now,
my god.
see Pablo Chino, they have to sit through that Miss Grenade. But other teams in the area, they're definitely going to know. That's just one more healing resource that this trio doesn't have to work with. A little bit of a gap here, though, and just overtake building tops, and they're ready to bail. They don't
Nice.
need to stick around
Nice
for this
play.
fight. Positioning just means so much more.
Oh, Teeny though, on the ground once again. Chaprice and Savage hunting them down. Already 4 eliminations on the board. This is how you want to start off the last match of the day if you're in qualifying range, but it's the opposite for Trulex. Trying to do anything he can to stay up here.
Trulix is just going to have to wait. Everything.
Mr. Savage is 4 points away from potentially qualifying for global. Oh my, wait, I can rewind for that. Bevs, we're going against Bevy and Pastroki. We want Pastroki to die immediately.
Escape Crime City. He's trying to keep a low profile. But the problem right now, Takada, is that even if he does bring back Svi and Teeny with the
Because of course we want Savage to win.
Savage decide not to turn around and key him for it. There's so much surge that they're going to need to compile, and they're just going to be so much further. Like, they're going to be.
Yo, Jaden, thank you for the subscription, my guy. I appreciate you, man.
Playing on expert mode.
YouTube prescription, big dog.
Played what they've been doing.
Thank you so much, man. Let me check my YouTube chat real quick.
Where's your team, Bevies?
Eliminated, sadly. Lone Bevies.
Dude, thank you for the subscription, man. I appreciate
You
you.
can recognize in the distance, but Bevies is a little bit. Everybody's just been looking kind of stuck in these solo and duo spots, Takada.
Yeah, I mean, it could be the first LAN for Enkido, but having now all the pressure onto Bevies playing it alone, being the cutoff to
Focus. Who knows who this is?
just puts that much more pressure on your shoulders. Focus up with Mixon. Stellar performance in the last match, especially from Focus. Hopefully they can keep it up here.
And they're also another one of those teams that's got players. Focus.
If you want to be a world
and
champion,
Alpha are both looking
you can't
all for their first
hesitate when.
elimination
Oh,
in FNCS. It would be
oh shit.
crazy kind of accomplishment for these guys, and they're definitely looking forward to it. They've just got to play to the standard that is his set lobby. But match 12, you can just tell so many of these teams are.
You want to be world champion? Making a LAN is like non-negotiable.
That they are.
No, you fall and do that.
Marius, they push themselves into top 3. With the performance here on day 2, it's been very consistent. In the past few matches, they're just less than 10 points away behind Vico and Veno going into this match. But
Steady, completely knocked out. I like that.
extended itself a bit.
Everyone in this lobby knows that this is just the last competitive opportunity if you're not qualified to the global championship. And with that in the back of
We
their
got a
minds,
controller team versus
like
second
a
place.
Huge reason as to why these teams are looking to just try and slow play through this, but eventually once we get to the moving zones, Takada, these teams are going to be forced to tangle with each other just because of the fact that Surge is very likely going to come into effect.
2,000 above.
It's been a
Eco
nuisance
Venom
for a
Flixie,
handful
so they
of
can
teams
just
that have
play
been kind of
zone.
struggling inside of
It's
that
actually a good play.
through 13th position.
If
on
you're
the board.
max Surge, you don't need to worry about being anywhere but dead side.
Last game,
Like,
the last major.
you don't want to be center or like congested so you can get more damage. You're already good on Surge, so you just go
At the end before that,
dead side.
Cammy's little tower gets taken down.
And the Storm is like the biggest dead side of the
A
map.
massive pull here. They did not have the odds in their favor in the last match, but hopefully this time around they can. Trulex though, hold on. Is he back in business now? Making it into the zone. Gonna be looking for that surge desperately, most likely, and Cammy might be on the receiving end.
Cammy, Hadi, eye drop. They're trying to be cautious, but Trulex, he is.
Yeah, we want this team to die.
He needs Teeny and Skv to buy him a little bit of time. And Teeny, kind of just staring down. Mason's team now spots out Veno. But you can never peek for too long. They're in a slightly isolated position right now, Takada, but with only 22 above that search damage threshold. They know that they're going to need damage, but
This is game
actually
12,
refreshes.
the
They
last
need
match of the tournament.
material, and they need to just upgrade some of these heals.
What a zone pull though. 7 right beside them. Also very good for Cammy. I drop on Hari here. If you want a good zone, it's on the last match. You gotta capitalize on it though.
It's always great to finish strong in a grand final setting, but Hadi, Cammy, eye drop, it's right in their grasp. Their qualifying position towards that global championship. They don't want to let it
For
slip.
Doxy.
There's Chino, Pablo for Doxy.
Gets into zone, builds in metal.
Center of the lobby. They don't care what kind of attention it
Nice.
might bring. They know that they moved early
They're about to start getting placement too. Once they start getting placement, that's a guaranteed win.
Still continue to stare down Upple.
Because someone needed to shut them down.
More pressure.
So my predictions are looking good. Because I predicted for Doxy to get second and Biko to get first. And then Biko's in second and for Doxy's in first. So I was reversed, but that's the best prediction today.
Heartbreaking outcome for Trulex, Teeny, and Spee. But their downfall might be the come up for some of these other teams here.
Right.
Mixon, Upple. They've still got a little bit more left in the tank, Takada. It doesn't take much, but they've got to just barely get over that hill.
Only wood for Mixon. No brick, no metal. Could that be a little
Top
refresh?
17, we're about to get placement.
Not looking incredible for them.
Veno Flixie in on edge.
Gone and gotten ahead of zone here. Mr. Savage now looking back. More than
Mr.
enough.
Savage.
Robin is on the receiving end. Medmit or Mistborn being used.
Savage is going to need to summon all of the willpower from the
First and second, yeah, it's looking
going to be going crazy right now. German's also
uncatchable.
gonna be getting wild for reason.
I like that.
Chap 2, Chap looking to make waves. They're so close to Kata to making it towards the global championship. It would be an absolutely Cinderella story there for Savage too. But I drop Hadi, Cammy. Very similar circumstance. They want that globals qual. And I drop Hadi, Cammy. Decent amount of surge above. And with the way that the elevation is going to potentially draw everybody's material count to be so incredibly low, they might not be that pressed on their builds.
Oh my gosh.
Careful though. A lot of high ground.
Marius and them alive though.
Pixie eyes are on them. Cammy
Exactly.
and iDrop cannot go down here. Seti's already made it to the global championship. Cammy looking to go 4 for 4. If they get eliminated now, they might not make it. Cammy's been knocked. It's up to Harry to protect.
Cammy knocked, that's so good.
With iDrop, and that's the only option they're gonna have.
So good.
iDrop looking to beat the odds.
And he's got no
The
mats.
allegations, he's wanting to overcome.
That's
Find
great.
himself at that global championship. Fortunately for them, they're still managing to just stay holed up and wait for the lobby focus to kind of dissipate off of them. Chino, Pablo for Doxy. 4 eliminations. They've pinpointed Bevy's location. Hyper goes Jewel. They just decide, okay, let's not go right.
They
into
know
the center.
someone's in that
Let's see
bush.
that
That's
spot
it.
here. and Savage pulling up though onto Prodoxy, Pablo, and Chino, and they've knocked Pablo. This is catastrophic right now for Prodoxy's team.
Okay.
In that first place position on the leaderboard, they're gonna have to leave Pablo
You didn't get the
behind.
mats.
It now is entirely up to
You're in
Prodoxy
first
and
place
Chino
by
to close
60
this one
points
out.
yet. You just can't.
Benno
So,
pushing on to eye drop. He has to be careful. Hari's been
someone kill this guy.
forced to heal on.
Someone get this guy. Yes.
Got left, but no
Yes.
builds to get cover. Hari as well. Zero materials. A potentially tragic.
All right, Savage, you win this game, you fall.
Hari's forced to play it out as a solo. He's gonna have to ride the storm here. A pullback would be ideal. A med kit has been found, but high ground gets chopped. Marius gets cracked, knocked down. Quick
Marius dead.
left as a duo.
That's huge.
But Pixie still able to apply a little bit of pressure onto the teams underneath. They're going to wind up dropping as a duo.
They're rezzing. That's also a huge res.
Shit.
Nice. You went for it? Oh, this is fucking crazy. Pixie dead. Vanya. Vico.
And it is falling like flies for our leading teams on the leaderboard right now. Takata, Vico also a solo from Venos Trio. Vico versus Vanya now to see who can try and really lock it out for that top 3 in the leaderboard. Watch Malabuka ping, finally telling everyone that this is their chance to step up, but they are pushing
Mr.
down
Savage
all
dead.
these teams from the hill, trying to see if they can find any sort of escape from the pressure of height. And
Vico killed
easy
Chap.
push onto Chap. That's gonna be everything when it comes to material. The siphon as well. He's just trying to tunnel his way through, but the lights are
He's
just
dead.
Vico has been eliminated. Chino and Prodoxy, we are looking at our major.
But who got second place?
Wielders Takata, they just
Vanya
figured
dead.
this out.
One final end game to finish it, and they're just a second away from wielding that blade of champions. For Dox, he's gonna use that miss for him. He wants to close it out strong, but you can see the excitement. He saw the feed. The dance comes through.
He killed the second place.
What has been done as Chino looking to finish with a couple eliminations. Hyper gonna get pickaxed as now just 4 eliminations built up, but for Dox, he's left alone. 2 more builds on the board, and Tayson on the other end of the build.
It's close enough for a victory lap. Prodoxy already knew that they had confirmed this Major 3 Grand Finals Blade of Champions position. He is just having fun with it at this point, trying to see who he can disrupt, just running around. Doesn't even matter when he does inevitably get eliminated. Prodoxy still looking to ruin the fun for others. Tayson will be dropped. That's going to put
Jesus.
Chicho and Atris now into a position where they have to try and hold it down, but Atris has fallen. Chicho still going strong though in the low ground, and even with only 10 builds remaining, Chicho, he sees Mappy directly behind him, trying to close the gap. Mappy trying to fight back, but Chicho, if he can get this knock, if he can get that siphon, it might just be the difference. Malabuka and Ping, though, they look so healthy, Takata. This is an insane finish right now. Malabuka and Ping off the top rope, chasing down whatever's left of Chicho's HP.
Oh my gosh.
It's all about Prodoxy, Pablo, and Chino for me.
All right, let's look at the scoreboard.
Unbelievable.
Bang! My predictions are fucking disgusting. Come on now. That is insane. I literally predicted that shit. The only thing was I picked the first place to get second place, and I picked second place to get first. Come on, man. Who the fuck does it, man? Alright, well. Insane.
Unbelievable. You can't forget Focus's trio in sick. Focus
Come
mixing
on.
up. They clutched up towards the back end there. But of course, the team, the final
Hey,
team
thank
to
you,
qualify for the
Bleeping Flopper for the follow, and Jaden
Oh my God,
for the
I'm so happy,
subscription
man.
on
My
YouTube.
weekend